All right, so good morning again. Okay, welcome to the second half of the class Information Technology for Logistics. So we're going to go to the first lecture, introduction. So and then we'll talk about what we are going to be doing in the rest of the, the rest of the class semester. All right, so first of all, my name is Pisutha-Arnond. So I worked in the Industrial Engineering Department. My background is actually a bunch of things. I've been working on a bunch of things, but I mean the reason that I'm here is that I do have some experience in information technology. Especially I work with the Thailand Department of Industrial Promotion, กรมส่งเสริมอุตสาหกรรม in Thai. Okay? And for the past 2 years, I have been promoting digital transformation in local businesses. We call SME, small and medium enterprises. Okay, so I mostly work with the factory that try to do like agricultural goods produced into like ready to usually just food industries. Okay, and then primarily I actually work try to introduce the software that control the whole operation in the business. It's called ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. Okay, so I guess this is something that I have been working, and I guess I want to share some of this with you. But okay, so last year I just mainly teaching ERP software to the students, and then I mean I guess and specifically I use the one called ERP Next, and then you will be using this one in this semester, but I want to kind of expand the scope a little bit because I think like for the class called Information Technology, learning just one software I think is too limited. Okay, so that's why I call it's too limited for the class IT. Okay, so this year I want to expand the scope a little bit. Okay, and I guess part of the reason is that one of your friends in here actually worked with me for 2 years, and he knows too much about it. So it would be unfair if I would teach this one. Like it would be too easy for him, that guy, by the way. Okay, so I want to make it a little bit harder. Okay, so that's why this year I want you to become system administrative guy. I want you to deploy and manage not just the ERP software, but actually the cloud application. So I think that's something that, I mean, for any places that try to do digital transformation, you need cloud services, right? You need internet accessing from like multiple devices and mobile phone and things like that. So yeah, and the thing that I think might be good to connect from what you learned from the first half is that I want you to actually deploy the web application that, I mean, I saw it in your Mango website. There's a PHP file called bookstore, i.e. bookstore, and I think you can like place an order in there. So I think I want you to deploy that onto your cloud basically, okay? And I want you to, and then I have my new toy this year. This year I'm learning an 8N, that's called the automation tools. That's quite popular, like it's becoming popular lately. I've been seeing lots of news regarding, how, I guess how easy and how powerful it is. So I want you to learn, I guess, some hands-on automation tools. And then of course, my expertise is on ERP software. So you're gonna be learning a little bit, but not as much. Mainly just, how it works in terms of like the IT aspect of it, rather than the business side of it. Okay, and then I think it might be kind of nice if you can kind of designing, like once you have all these services, you can design the workflow that actually automates all of the work. And it's actually the pain point that I found in many places that I go in terms of like the businesses, because they have many software, and each of the software, they never talk to one another. And this is the tools that you can use in order for things to talk to one another and make your business flow more automated. Okay, so that's something that I think might be. I'm exploring this kind of aspects too. So I guess we're learning together to see how hard it is. I guess so. All right. So the skill that you will hopefully obtain from the second half of the class is the cloud service and networking. Because in order to deploy any of these applications, you kind of have to know about networking and also being an system administration. Like you're going to be using Linux, by the way, okay? And also, once you have everything in place, I hopefully we can have some time to go into, like how you do design all of this business flow and make everything more automated in that way, okay? So hopefully we'll have some fun together, okay? And in terms of grading, so I'm responsible for giving you 50% of the grades, and that will be divided into assignment. So assignment is something, for example, if I teach you how to do cloud deployment on web application, so I'm going to say, okay, just deploy something for me, something else for me, and do something with N8N and do something with ERP Next. So that's something that you can do on your own. And then project, depending on how hard it is, okay, I don't know how hard it's going to be. It can be one person per project, or it can be a group project. If it's hard, then maybe we can do like 2-person or 3-person. Maybe T is a bit too much, but maybe 2-person per project might be a good, like splitting all the works and things like that. So maybe half of them. So I'm thinking about, like assignment being 25% and project is another 25%. And usually we do project presentation. We don't do final exam. Okay, so there's no written exam. Just do some fun project, and that's all I need. Okay. All right. So first off, cloud services, right? You use cloud service all the time. Gmail, Netflix, a bunch of things. So a bunch of things that you can access from the internet cloud service, right? So I want to do cloud. I want you guys to have your own cloud, for example. Okay. You might think that in order to have your own cloud, you have to pay for some server, I don't know, somewhere by like a big vendor like Amazon or Google. But I would say that it's actually you don't need any of that. You just need a computer. Actually, what we are going to use today is a computer that is actually my old desktop sitting in my office next building. Okay, I don't have to pay anything. It's just my 5-year-old computer. Okay, my 5-year-old computer is actually running some application. So if you want to run any cloud services, you need to run an application so that people from outside in the public can access it. Okay, so given that I have my computer running some application, so the next thing is that I want people to access my application, right? If the person who accessed my computer, let's say it's this computer right here. Let's say it's in my local area network. It's called LAN. I mean, you probably have heard LAN, right? I mean, if you look into the back of your computer, you're going to see the cable. It's called LAN cable. So the LAN cable is something that's local, right? Local meaning that it's connected to the same piece of hardware called router, okay? So if the computer are in the same local LAN or local area network, right? These computers can be connected easily, no problem, right? This computer can connect to the server. So if you are using this computer right here, you can type the address, it's probably going to be the IP address, and then you can access the application, right? No problem. Okay. But the problem is that actually my computer that is running in the next building, it's actually running. It's in the local area network somewhere, but overall, it's actually inside the CMU, so this university network, okay? And this university network also has a router. Okay, you can think about it as a router, but it's not just a router that you use at home. It's the enterprise-grade router. Or other people call it a gateway, okay? So this guy right here. So you can think about this, okay? So if there is a user from outside, public users, and the user wants to connect to my server, the gateway would not allow it for obvious reason, right? There are two reasons that this connection will not work, okay? So the first is that the gateway, which is the orange one right here, does not allow it, okay? And that's actually a good idea. That's actually very good for security reason, right? Think about it. If any computer in the CMU network can be accessed from the outside, that's kind of scary, right? Anybody can hack into your computer. So the router would not allow this. Okay? The router only allows you to go out, so it only allows it's called the outbound connection from the computer inside. Any incoming or inbound connection is only allowed if it's a reply. Say if you connect to the Google server and the Google server replying to you, the gateway will allow the incoming connection. But if there is any new incoming connection initiating from outside, there's no way the gateway will allow it for security reasons. Okay, so that means that first of all, my server is not accessible from the outside to the outside. Okay, so that's one problem. Okay, and the second problem is that even if I can talk to the ITSC, which is the IT department of the university, saying, okay, I'm running a cloud service. I want people to connect to my server. It will not work for the reason that there is no address for my, I guess there's no public address for my computer, okay? My computer that is running an application next door, it actually has the, what's it called, the share public IP, okay? So just kind of zoom back a little bit, right? If you are going to access the internet, you need public IP. So every computer actually has a public IP, okay? You can try it right now. You can try it with me, okay? So if I go to any website, I guess go to Google and search for what is my IP address. There's many websites that do this, okay? So you can go check this one right now to see what is your public IP at the moment, okay? So let me just do this. Okay, so right now my IP address is right here. So it's 202. So IP address, it's like a 4-digit, like a 4 numbers. That's called IPv4. Okay. All right, and if you notice, okay, some of you might have a different IP address, but some of you might have the same IP address as what I do. Anybody has this exact IP? No? Okay. No one at all? Okay. That's okay. That's okay. So here's the thing. This address is actually the IP address that is shared between many devices. Okay? Because public IP is actually quite limited. I mean, some of you might have heard that right now we are using what is called the IPv4 system. And there's only like 4 billion address available to the entire world, and that's not enough. So what the internet provider is doing is that they are using the share public IP. So it's possible that this IP address will be shared by some other computer that is using the internet, maybe not right now, but maybe later on. This public IP is actually used by another guy. So we're sharing the public address. As you can see that will become a problem, right? Because if I were to run an application on my server and then my address keeps changing, that's a problem because nobody can find me. I mean, they might maybe they can find me once, but then later on, they cannot find me anymore. Okay, that's the problem with using the share public IP, okay? So there are 2 problems that I need to solve if I want to host a cloud service, okay? All right, so that's the reason, okay? So another thing is that, yeah, I mean, that's another thing that you can do, test connectivity. I don't, oh, okay. This one, maybe you don't need to do it now, but there's another tool that you might be installing. I just wonder, are you done? Are you still downloading? Can I see? You're still downloading.
No, but it's fast now.
Okay, okay. Because if you're downloading, then you might not have this tool. Okay. Hold on. Maybe we can try. If you have it, that's good. Okay. So we're gonna try seeing some public IP on different, I guess, services. Shall we? The command is called ping. So ping is like asking to see. Well, I'll show you what happened. Okay. So if I open terminal, okay, and then I want to see if I can be connected to any services, I can say ping. Okay, that's a command, right? And then followed by anything that you want to try. For example, I can do ping google.com. Okay. And if I see reply from here, so that means that I can connect it to this service. So that's a good way if you were to deploy something, you want to test if it works. Instead of going to the web browser and type google.com. I mean, that kind of works, but it's worked in a very kind of like a high level. If you want to do like a low-level connection, then ping would be a way to go. So see if you can do this. Can you do it? Do you have ping in your terminal?
Yeah, you can just do it with CMD.
Hmm? I mean, so you do have ping without installing anything, right?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
just type it in CMD.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. So what I want to do, okay, I remember now. So let's see. This is my IP address, right? So let me, if I ping this one, see if you can ping yourself, okay? So I'm going to ping myself. And that's the reason. That's the problem, right? See, I cannot ping myself because it says request timeout, even though it's kind of weird, right? I'm connecting to my own computer. Like, I'm even pinging my own address, the one that I look up, right? But the thing is that this one doesn't work because of the router doesn't allow it. Second, it's a shared public IP, so it cannot reach me, even though I'm actually pinging my own computer. If I want to connect to my own computer, there's another way we can do, which is ping 127.0.0.1. So this is actually your own computer. This is called the loopback IP address. It goes into your own network adapter. So this one, if you ping 127, it doesn't go outside to the internet. So it only go back to your computer. So that one works, okay? Just something that you can try. Okay. All right, so that's the reason it doesn't work like this, okay? So another thing that I want to mention is that when you ping, there's two ways you can do, right? I'm pinging Google, right? Google.com, it works, right? And then it even shows this IP address right here. Or I can even ping this guy right here too. Let me see. Right? So there are two ways of doing, right? You can ping the name google.com, or you can ping the IP address, okay? And the reason, I guess pinging the IP address is more fun, like it's more low level, right? When you're pinging google.com, there's actually another system running in place. It's called domain name system, okay? Let me just kind of mention it right now. Okay. The reason that you can do google.com and it works because of what is called the domain name system. So it's the internet protocol that kind of translate the human readable name like google.com to something that the computer understands in terms of the address, which is the IP address, right? So if you want to know a little bit more about the domain name system, there's a command called dig, right? But this one, you have to install the last software that I have in my guide. So right now, some of you might not have it if you're still downloading VS Code or whatever. But let me just show you this one, and then we're gonna be using this one a little bit in the future, okay? All right, so I already installed everything from my guide, so I do have a command called dig, okay? And if I do dig google.com, you're gonna see this one. Okay, so let's kind of try to understand the answer, what's the output here a little bit. So there are two parts in here. So the first part is called the answer, right? So the answer is, so essentially dig is a command that asks the DNS server, what is the IP address of google.com? And the answer is this one right here, okay? So then my computer knows that next time if I were to type google.com in anywhere in the web browser, or even if I were to ping google.com, it's going to be using in the underlying protocol 142 IP address, okay? And you can try something like this too. If I already know that google.com corresponds to this 142 address, I can even visit that website, okay? Instead of typing google.com. Let's check out this one. Yeah, it kind of works. It actually works, but it redirects me back to google.com. So if I were to type the IP address, it will revert back to google.com. So it's actually working, right? Behind the scene, there is a huge system called the DNS system working to answer your question, where is google.com, okay? You can try another website that you want. For example, how about CMU? Okay. If I were to type dig cmu.ac.th, right? As you can see that the answer is actually this one, right? And you might be noticing that the answer, like the IP address of this, is actually very similar to your public IP, right? It even starts with almost the same thing, right? Right here. So you can see the similarity, right? Because it's actually from the same kind of like domain. So here and also here, right? The first two numbers almost the same, like the same one, because we are from the CMU network, right? And then also the website cmu.ac.th correspond to that IP address. So that's where, you know, like start to make sense, right? Okay. And also you can try, if you want, you can try visiting your university website with this IP, although it does not work, okay? I would just say that it does not work yet, okay? Okay, so the reason that I'm introducing this to you right now is that once we're deployed, like we're gonna be, you know, using the DNS service a little bit because we don't want to be remembering the server IP address. And if you recall, you might notice that the information that I sent you, the server address is actually not an IP address. It's the human readable name because I'm actually using the DNS server locally in my, I guess, VPN, okay? All right, I'm getting ahead of myself, okay? So right now, okay, I have a problem, right? So to fix that problem, I need another server, okay? So the server that you are seeing here is actually not the server that is running an application. This one, I bought it publicly. So this is I guess a server that runs with the public IP. And then this public IP is actually unique. It never changed. And the router of this, whatever network this server is sitting on, allows the incoming request. Okay, so you have to go buy it somewhere. Okay, so there's many providers. So I'm buying it like pretty cheap, I guess, not that expensive. Okay, and so if I were to have this server, right, the user can now use my IP address to connect to my server. So this is good, right? But then we still have the problem because this server is actually not running my application, right? The application that I'm running is sitting next building, it's inside the CMU network. So that's the thing, right? So that's the problem, okay? So I have another task that I need to do because this server publicly accessible. This one running application is not accessible. So what I want is for this server on the left to be able to talk to the server on the right, but they're on different network. Okay, so that's when another technology comes in. As you might have guessed, okay, it's called VPN. Okay, it's called the Virtual Private Network. Okay, so it's a technology that do many things, but what I want from this technology is to make the connection happen between the computer from different network as if they were connected in the same local area network. So as if the computer that I bought publicly and the server running in my office building connect them with the cable. But the cable doesn't exist, right? It's a virtual cable. So that's why it's called the Virtual Private Network. It's VPN. I mean, you guys use VPN all the time, right? When you want to access like paper in the library. Like when you are outside, right, you have to do VPN connection. That's the same thing. If you connect to the VPN, it was as if your laptop is actually connected like by the wire inside the CMU network. And that's why you can access, you know, all this publication as if you were inside the university. Okay, so same thing, all right? So in the end, I want something like this, where, again, physically, my computer on the left and on the right is totally in a different network. They cannot talk to one another, but I'm installing another software or application that connects two of them as if they were physically connected by the wire. So that's why these two can now talk to one another, okay? So now, once I have this all in place, what's going to happen is that when the users connect to my kind of like public server, my public server is going to route the connection back to the server that runs the application. And this one can serve the application and then talk back to the user. So the user doesn't know anything, but behind the scene, there are this kind of thing that goes in place, okay? And if you are going to use like a big cloud provider like Amazon or Google, they're using the same architecture, just way more complicated, okay? All right, and here is where you come in, okay? I have my server, I have my public server, I have my server running application, but then you guys gonna be the system administrators, right? You need access to from your computer, like anywhere, right? It doesn't have to be here, it can be at home. So same thing, you need your computer, this one, or your laptop to be in my VPN. Because if you're in my VPN, it was as if you connect your laptop or computer with the wire to all of this computer, so you can access it. Okay, so that's how we're gonna connect to the server, and then you can deploy your application over there and make it work publicly. Okay, so that's what we're doing. And this particular service is called WireGuard. So if you notice, right, the last application that I told you to install is called WireGuard. Just by the way, are you there yet? Are you still?
Yeah.
Okay. ถึงยังครับ ถึง WireGuard ยังครับ
มันมีอันนี้ค่ะขึ้นเป็นสีแดงก็เลยไม่รู้อะ
นะครับเช็คตรงนี้ก่อนถึงแล้วครับokay. So we're gonna do that for now, okay? All right, so the first task today, connect to WireGuard VPN, okay? So we're gonna go to, first, the application is this guy right here. If you install everything, you should be seeing this one. So why don't we open it, okay? So right now, I already have VPN connection, right? So I'm just gonna close it, okay? So you need the credential parts, and I already sent you that one in Mango. So can you go get it? It should look something like, I don't want to show this one over the internet. So, okay, so once you have your information, we're going to go to add tunnel. You can do add empty tunnel, okay? And all you need to do is just paste that information in here. Just name it something else. Just name it VPN. Name it something. WireGuard VPN, just name it. Okay, so when you copy, make sure that you start with the word interface. Okay, so there might be something else on top, right? Delete it. Start with interface. Okay. All right, and I guess the last line would be persistent keep alive. I think that should be the last line. Okay, and once you're done, you should have something like this on your program, and all you need to do is activate. Just press activate. And let me know if it's giving you error. And that's it. That's all you need to do in order to connect to my VPN and access all of this server that is running, next door. ถูกแล้วครับ มันดูน้อยๆอ่ะ
ใช่ไหมคะหนูก็คิดอยู่ว่า
ไม่เราต้องไปเอาข้อมูลในแหล่ง Mango ครับ So you don't know? Okay. So let me just show you where it is, but let me turn off my recording first. Okay. So what's happening in here is that your computer has access to some of the things that I'm running. Okay. So let's try them right now. Okay. So we're going to use the same command. We're going to ping. Okay. So first thing, the server that is the public server, right? The one that I bought that anyone can connect. Now has another IP. It's called 10.66.66.1. So ping 10.66.66.1. So that's something that you can check if your VPN is working, because this is the server, the VPN server, okay? If I ping it, it works, okay, so that's good, right? That's something you can check right away, okay? And another thing is that now, sorry, I do have, okay. Now you should have access to your server, okay? So let's check it out. In your comments, for example, this person should have a server called, this one right here. Okay, you should have another one, okay? So can you try pinging your server information, please? See if it works, okay? So this one is PM1 CT150.local. If it doesn't work, let me know, okay? Okay, so I can try real quick. So I'm pinging, okay? Ping, and then, so yours would be different, right? So I'm trying to ping this person's, okay? Server, PM1, CT150.local. What? Doesn't work? It's working, okay. I was scared for a bit, okay, it works, okay. If it doesn't work, let me know, because that will be the first problem that I have to fix. But again, I mean, if you have problem, accessing anything in my VPN, the first thing is type pinging, because pinging is the most basic internet connectivity commands. Like if you try to use web browser, that's too high level. Like it includes many things in there. But pinging is like the lowest thing you can do. Like if ping doesn't work, nothing else will work. Okay, so that's something you can try, right? So one of the things that you might notice is that how do I get this name, right? I'm pinging this guy right here, right? This thing does not exist in public. If I were to ping this again, but I turn off my WireGuard VPN, so I deactivate it, right? I'm pinging this guy again, it will not work, all right? So keep that in mind. Like if you cannot access your server, check your VPN connection. Like you need your VPN because that's something local. Okay, so how does that work, right? How do I get this human readable name only for me? It's because I already have DNS server set up in my VPN network, okay? It's actually in here. If you go to your WireGuard connection, you're gonna see that this is my DNS server. It's 10.66.66.10. So that is another computer that I didn't tell you before. Like I have many computers setting up, but there's another computer setting up just for that particular services, okay? And that computer can only be accessed if you're in my VPN. So if you're not in my VPN, then nobody's gonna understand what .local means. Like PM1.local, it doesn't mean anything outside my VPN. That's the reason. Okay. All right, and then just for general information, 8.8.8, that is the VPN DNS server for Google. Okay, there's another one that's quite popular. It's 1.1.1.1. So that one from Cloudflare. Okay, so if you do some research onto the domain name system services, you're gonna see that 1.1.1.1 and 8.8.8 is probably the most popular one. And if you ever wonder how did your internet provider block your connection, like if you might have recalled, like if I think a couple years ago, if I were to visit some of the questionable website from my internet provider, then it will block me. The reason that it can block me is that my router is actually connected to the ISP DNS server, and that's how they blocked it. If I were to change the internet, the DNS server to, for example, Google, I can bypass all that blocking. ใช่ไหมครับไอ้เว็บไซต์นี้ผิดกฎหมายเข้าไม่ได้อะไรเงี้ย If you want to bypass that, you just have to change your DNS server to like public one, and you're good to go. Okay, I'm just telling you that, right? That's how people block your internet. They don't block you from the connection. They block you from the domain name system. Okay, all right. That's good. So everyone can connect to your computer, so we can move on. Okay. All right. So that's your. All right. So your computer. So one of the things that you can try is that what is actually your computer IP address. Okay, let's try that, okay? And you can try that with the command called dig. Hopefully you have that in your computer now. Okay, I can try dig and then pm1 ct150. For you, it will be a different name, .local. There you go. So from here, I can find out that this name, this particular name, has the IP address called, where is it? Answer. Oh, actually, I'm not connected to VPN. That's why it doesn't work. Okay, I have to be connected to the VPN. And if I were to type dig, I can see that my answer is right here. Okay, so actually, this human readable address translates into this particular IP address. Okay, again, this is my VPN local IP address. It doesn't work anywhere else. Okay. All right, so I want you to keep this address in mind, okay? And we're gonna try connecting to the server right now, right? So each of you have separate server, okay? So it's almost like you have separate computer, but in reality, I did not do that. I used what is called the hypervisor, which is one computer spawning a bunch of computer behind the scene. So one computer spawn like a virtual computer, okay? So, but that's besides the point here. Okay, so in order for you to connect to the computer, your server, we're going to use the protocol called secure shell. So we're going to do this, SSH. Okay, you can type that with me, SSH, right? And followed by your credential, okay, which is very, very secure. If you go into your, I guess, the information that I sent you, let me just turn this one off a little bit. Okay, so if you try to SSH into this server for the first time, it will ask you to confirm that are you okay with connecting to this IP address? Because remember, the name, the human readable name, gets translated into IP. So as a security, this software SSH wants you to make sure that are you actually going into this IP? And yes. So we're going to type yes. Like that. And that's for just the first time you connect to the new address. Okay? And then the password is the same for everyone, which I'm not going to say it here. I don't want to say it into my video. Just do password. Okay? And there you go. And if you're here, then congratulations. I mean, I'm not sure it's at the first time, but you have connected to the cloud server. This is actually cloud server. Okay? Okay, let me know if you have problem or you want to wait. Oh, ไม่ได้นะ
ผมดิกก็ไม่ได้
ถ้าดิกไม่ได้แปลว่ายังไม่ได้ลงไอตัวแปลซอฟต์แวร์ตัวสุดท้ายของตัวรองสุดท้ายของผมในไกด์ครับมันจะมีตัวนี้bind to ถ้าตัวนี้ลงไม่เสร็จมันจะไม่มีดิกขึ้นมาหรือถ้าลงเสร็จแล้วแต่ยังไม่ได้รีสตาร์ทเทอร์มินอลต้องเปิดปิดใหม่ครับก็เปิดปิดครับใช่เห็นได้ไหมอันนี้เข้าอยู่ใน VPN แล้วใช่ไหมได้แล้วแอดมินแอดครับโอเค let me give you the command again so it's gonna be your นี่I have to exit. Okay, so the command is username, and then don't forget the @ sign. Okay, there's an @ sign in here. Huh? Password. ลงข้างล่างOkay, when you type the password, that's not going to be anything showing up, but it's actually work. ต้องเชื่อครับต้องเชื่อเนี่ยต้องมีความเชื่อไทป์ไปแล้วกด enter ครับแต่จริงๆพี่ยังไม่ต้องใช้คำสั่งดิกตัวนี้ก็ได้นะครับเพราะว่าอันนี้มันแค่เช็ค DNS เฉยๆเนาะแต่ว่าลอง SSH ดูก่อนว่าเข้าได้หรือเปล่าครับแค่นั้นแหละ
ให้เข้าไปที่เซิร์ฟเวอร์
ใช่ไม่ได้เพราะนั้นไวการ์ดเวิร์กไหมไม่เวิร์ก
ผมไม่ได้ทำอะไรนะครับเนี่ย
ผมขอเช็คนะอันนี้ที่แน่คำสั่งดิกมันจะช่วยเราว่าเราจะได้เช็คว่ามันถูกต้องหรือเปล่านะแต่ลองปิงดูก็ได้ครับPM2
ปิง เข้าอยู่ครับอาจารย์
ถ้าปิงเข้าแสดงว่าได้
เมื่อกี้นะครับปิง
ใช่ง่ายก็คือถ้าเกิดเราจะเช็คทำไมถึงเข้าไม่ได้อะเราจะปิงก่อน
ครับ
ถ้ามันปิงไม่เวิร์กก็ไม่ต้องคิดมากครับทำอย่างอื่นไม่ได้แน่นอนนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นอันนี้เหมือนมีประเด็นนะเห็นไหม
แต่ผมปิงผ่าน CMD
ไม่รู้ครับ
แต่ไม่เกี่ยวนะครับ
ไม่เกี่ยวได้หมดลองอีกรอบลองคอนเนคอีกรอบเนี่ยเวลาเราเช็คเราต้องปิงก่อนงั้นเนี่ยไม่ได้ครับไม่ได้งั้นลองนี่ผมลองปิงตัวการ์ดตัวใหญ่ก่อนนี่ตัวนี้เป็นตัวใหญ่ถ้าปิงตัวนี้ไม่ได้แสดงว่าไวการ์ดไม่เวิร์กเนี่ยไม่ได้เพราะฉะนั้นมันมีอะไรแถวๆนี้ที่ผิดอ่ะพี่ลองขอก๊อปใหม่ได้ไหมครับ
ได้ครับ
เพื่อความชัวร์ขอก๊อปอีกรอบหนึ่ง
ก็เป็นรอบ
ครับ อยู่ในแมงโก้เป็นชื่อพี่นะนี่เป็นชื่อพี่นะโอเคโอเคโอเคยับเป็นไงได้ไหม
ต้องเป็น Wi-Fi หรืออินเทอร์เน็ต
What ของคุณน่าจะเป็น Wi-Fi มั้งไม่เคยเห็นคำนี้มาก่อนเนาะผมลองได้ไหมผมไม่แน่ใจอะผมลองเลยครับ
ลองแกล้ง
แล้วมันเป็นสีไงผมก็ไม่รู้เหมือนกันงั้นเอางี้ไม่เอาก่อนไม่เอาไม่ให้อะ
ไม่ได้
อะไรวะเอาอย่างนี้เซฟได้เฉยไม่เคยใช้ Mac ไม่รู้มันทำไงวะถ้ามันเป็นแบบนี้วะมันมีวิธีก๊อปอย่างอื่นไหมเพสเหมือนเดิมหรือว่ามันต้องใส่
มันต้องหน้าตาเป็นแบบไหนคะอาจารย์
ก็มันไม่ควรจะมีอะไรเดี๋ยวก่อนเอาใหม่แล้วคุณทำอะไรก่อนอย่างแรกมันต้องเป็นแบบนี้มันก็เหมือนกันเนาะมันก็เหมือนเดิมเนาะมันเหมือนมันก๊อปมันมีโน้ตแพดไม่มีโน้ต
มีโน้ตเฉย
คือมันเหมือนมันมี formatting อะไรบางอย่างเข้ามามั้งผมอยากได้ plain text คือคุณก๊อปมาแล้วมันไม่ใช่ plain text เนาะผมไม่เข้าใจก็เลยมีขอโปรแกรมโน้ตที่ง่ายๆ1 อันเดี๋ยวผมปิดหน่อยโอเค let me turn off my recording All right, so after a quite technical problem, which happens all the time in IT stuff. So again, let me just remind you where we left off. Okay, so I want you to connect to your server. So right now, you can use a syntax like this. So your username and then your, I guess, human readable URL. Okay, once you're in, okay, let me just do that. So once you're in, notice that you are, why? Okay, so once you're in, notice that your prompt, this is called your prompt, has changed. Okay, so you have to imagine that right now you're in the server. Okay, if you want to exit, you just type exit. So why don't we try logging in and logging out, just to make sure that you understand the context of where you are. So right now I'm in my computer. If I want to log in again, by the way, you can hit the arrow key up to recycle the commands that you type. Okay, so you don't need to type anything all the time. Okay, so I'm gonna type this one again, right? In order to go in, and then I'm gonna log in. All right, like that. Okay, so maybe I should use my own server so that I don't have to interfere with this guy's server. Okay, so let me just check. Okay, so another thing that you can do is that, as you just saw me doing, right? So when I exit, right, I did not use my URL, like a human readable name. I actually use my IP. So it's the same thing. If you know your IP, you don't even need to use the actual human readable URL. Okay, it's the same thing. You should be able to do both. Okay. Okay, so let's log in and let's get yourself a little bit familiar with being a system administrator. Okay. Okay, I'm in here. So first of all, this is Linux, by the way. So if you use Windows a lot, this one is not as familiar. If you use Mac, it's somewhat similar. Okay, they're based on the same kind of like design. So first of all, you're in the home folder. So if you want to see where you are, and unfortunately, when we do all of this sort of thing, there is no mouse. Everything has to be through the keyboard and like this, okay? So first, you want to see where you are. You're going to type PWD, okay? And as you can see that right now, I'm in Home Admin. So in Linux and Mac, we don't have the drive number. Like if you are in, for example, if you're in Windows, when I type PWD, you actually see that I'm in, like this thing, C prompt, right? That's a drive number. Like in Windows, the drive is represented by a letter. But in Linux, there's no such thing. In Linux, where you are, starting from here. So the slash is like the top level of your computer. If you want to go to your drive, there is a folder that's called mount, and then you go to your drive from there. So it's a little bit different, right? But then right now, just keep in mind that you're in home/admin. So that's called the home folder, okay? If you want to see the stuff inside your home folder, we're going to do ls. ls is a command to list stuff. I don't know, I'd probably not spell list stuff, but I usually just call list stuff, okay? As you can see that it's empty because there's nothing in your home folder, okay? But actually, even if it's empty, there's actually some files. It's called hidden file. So we're going to do ls and then -a. That's the list with a hidden file. As you can see that there are stuff in here that begin with dot. So the things that begin with dots like this is called the hidden files of folder. Okay, we still use files and folder, but if you use normal ls, it won't come up, okay? It's the same thing with Mac. If you use Mac, you're probably gonna have this kind of design, okay? And usually, if it's like this, I don't see much of the detail, so I usually just adding in another option, ls-la. So the L in here is to list things in more details, so you can try that one too, right? So this one is gonna look different from Windows. So from Windows, if you were to do the same thing in Windows, right? It's kind of the same actually, so yeah. So first of all, this is your file in your home folder. Notice that they're all hidden file begin with dots, right? And these are the owner of the file. So admin is you, so you own everything in your home folder, right? And this part is called the permission, the file permission. We'll talk about it later because that's gonna come into play when you want to allow some application to read your file. But just keep in mind that that's kind of the basic information that you can check, okay? Okay, so the thing that we're going to use quite a lot in here is that we need to create file. Like we need to type in things, but unfortunately, there's no mouse. So we're going to use the text editor, that is the command line text editor. It's called Nano, okay? Can you type with me, Nano? So that is the name of the terminal text editor. And then how about this? Type your name so that whenever people come into your home folder, if they come in mistakenly, they know that they're in the wrong place. So I'm going to type niran.text. You can type your name.text. How about that? Let's create the text file with your name on it and hit enter. Okay ครับ โทษ ใหม่ ครับ Okay, it's gonna look weird, right? Without mouse, you're gonna feel a little bit crippled, quite a lot. But after a while, you get used to it. It's actually faster than using mouse, okay? When I hit enter, you're gonna be greeted with this screen, okay? And then feel free to type anything in here, right? It works just like a text editor. You can use arrow key to move things around. You can delete, right? It's just a text editor, right? Gets a feel of it, right? So everything feels familiar until you want to save it. The save file is, okay. So if you can see that below, this is actually the shortcut that you're going to use later. So if you want to save, okay, The long way is to do control and then O. So I want to execute this command right here. Write out. Okay. So write out is saving the file, right? And the shortcut, you can see the caret, right? The caret, the hat. Hat is control in Windows. Mac, I think it's control. You have to try, okay? So if I want to write something out, I have to hit control and then O. Okay, so why don't you try that? I hit control O. See? This is the file name that I want to write, right? It was asking if it's okay. I said okay, so I just hit enter. And then this is called saving. All right, so get used to that because we're going to be using that a lot. Okay, so let's say you want to change something. You want to save it. The long way is control O and then hit enter. That's how you save the file. Okay? So why don't you write something, save the file. And then another thing that's kind of a trick, I guess kind of messy for a lot of people is how to exit. So can you guess how do we exit from here? That's how we exit. Remember? This caret, it's control. So control X to exit. Can you exit? Control X. Okay, so if I want you to edit any file, you can type. So right now, if I were to come to my home folder, right, I do ls, you can see that my file is there, right? Because this is the only file that is not hidden, right? But if I want to do ls-la, so that's going to see everything, including the hidden file. This is the file that I have that I just created. Okay, so maybe it's good to have your name, your file with your name on it. So maybe if somebody comes into your server mistakenly and they do ls, they can see that, oh, this is actually owned by Niran, right? So then maybe that's a good one to keep it here, just to make sure. Okay. All right. So if I want to edit this file again, I can hit clear. Okay. If it's too cluttered, just hit clear like that. Okay. I can do nano niran.txt. Oh, by the way, another thing to keep in mind, you can tab for completion. Use that a lot. Okay. So when I type nano, I do NIR, and then I don't even have to type the whole thing. I just hit tab, and it auto completes. Okay. So use tab and the up arrow key to help you go faster. Okay. So I can open again. I can close. Control X. All right. See how I go. Open and close. I can go like that. Okay. So get used to that kind of motion. Okay. In Windows, there's actually even a shorter shortcut than that. If I were to do nano, right, niran.txt, right? If I were to type anything, if I want to save, I can do Control S. It does not get listed in here, but Control S, it actually works in Windows. But I tried with Mac, it doesn't work. So sorry, Mac guy. Control S doesn't work for you. You have to do write out only. Okay. All right, so that's nano. Okay. See, another thing is that if I were to see this is any stuff in your folder, right? But then let's try going into another folder. And another folder that we use a lot when we want to install stuff is called ECT. Okay, so I want to go into this folder. I'm going to use the command cd. Okay, so that change directories. Okay, so people call etc. I call it etc. Something like that. Okay, let's do something like this. Okay, if you go in here and then let's do ls-la. Okay. Okay, there's a lot of things in here, right? But notice that all of this is owned by root. So root is another user in Linux system, which is the root, right? You're not the root, right? You're just the normal user. But so if you want to edit anything in here, let's try it. So make sure that you are in etc, right? Let's try nano and just type your name, niran.txt. So that means that we're going to create the file here. Let's see what happened. You're going to have this thing right here. You see that? Okay, that's going to come up very, very often because think about this. You're in the place that is owned by root, you're trying to create a new file, but you're not the root, so you cannot do that. And then I guess the error message just said it directly, right? It's not writable. So, but the thing is that I already made your own account in the root. It's called the root groups. Okay, so you are the admin of this server, but you're not the root. But you can become the root by using this command right here. So if I say sudo, so this command you will use it a lot. So this one, think about this command as becoming the root. If I do sudo nano niran.txt, so that means that I'm going to run nano niran.txt, but I want to become the root. So that's what it means. So if you append sudo into any command, so not append, but prepend. If you prepend sudo on any command, you are executing that command as the root. Okay, so if I do that, and then I have to enter the password for the root, right? So I do that password. Then you can write a new file. Okay? I mean, you can write, you can save, you can do anything because that you're becoming the root. Okay? That's the thing that you will see a lot when we are trying to work with any of the, like installing software, making change to the configuration and things like that. Okay, so I'm gonna quit by issue command control X. Okay, so now like that. Anything else that I want to do? Let me see. For the and I think along the way you will learn more stuff regarding how to like navigate around the Linux system. Okay, so navigation, nano, sudo. Okay, I think I'm good. All right, so done for the first part. Let me just